This episode of Rockin' Motors is brought to you by Cigarette Racing Team, the American offshore legend. And welcome to this week's episode of Rockin' Motors. I'm your host, Oona O'Connell, and today we've got a special treat for you. Today we're going to begin the first of our three-part series on motorcycles. I'm here at Gary McGorn's shop in South Florida, where he has over 30 vintage and rare motorcycles stored. How are you, Gary?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, now this is quite a special bike that we're standing in front of, so I'm going to have Gary introduce it. Gary, what kind of bike is this?
This is a Yamaha 1970.
Beautiful. And what are the specifications of this bike?
This bike was built in 1970 by myself and another friend of mine. We sent the motor to California, and it was built by Dan Gurney. This is a Gurney Yamaha flat tracker. The frame is a chrome moly frame, chrome plated, and the engine is punched out to 750 cc's.
Now the frame is quite special as well, am I correct?
Yes.
Pretty rare frame?
It's rare. It's a Trackmaster frame with an adjustable swing arm on it for different track conditions, a smooth track or a bumpy track. This bike here is mainly raced on half miles and mile tracks, and that's what on the dirt. And that's why the tires are semi-knobs instead of a street tires, and this bike has been converted over to a street tracker is what they make them today, and that's what they're called now, street trackers. But this used to be a genuine race bike. Okay, it's normally a 650 Yamaha motor, which was built by Dan Gurney, which was converted into a 1970 750cc motor. And the speeds on something like this, when you're racing on a dirt track, which is this bike here, I've ridden it on Indianapolis mile track, you're doing speeds of 120 to 130 miles an hour on the dirt with this particular bike here.
Now, the paint job on this bike is really special. Gary, tell me a little bit about the decals that you have on here.
Yeah, I always like to have something different than anybody else has. You know, everybody has the same color yellow. I wanted a different color yellow, and I wanted the tuning forks for Yamaha to really stand out, and I like the Japanese type of writing. Plus, I like the rising sun, which we have back here on the tail section. So over the years, you know, I've seen these things on different bikes, so I just kind of incorporated them all onto mine.
What's 49? Tell me.
49 is the number that they gave me when I started racing many years ago, and the D means Florida, so 49D, and this should be a white plate for expert. I was an expert when I retired from racing, so I've been over the racing for many years.
You know, Gary, tell me what this thing is, because I had a question about that when I first saw it.
Okay, this is what they call a skid shoe. This one here is made for 1/4 of a mile, as you can see. This is what you wear on your left foot, and it's for balance. And the bottom of it is made out of, covered up with titanium for sliding on the dirt. Today, the guys that race on the asphalt tracks, they use their knee as balance, where back then, and they still do as today, everybody uses their foot for a balance or an outrigger, what they call it, you know. So this is called a hot shoe or a skid shoe, as some people like to call it.
Beautiful, and that's clearly seen some wear and tear in
yes,
its day.
Many years.
The bike was absolutely beautiful, and it's such a treat to see one. Gary, thank you so much for showing it to us.
Well, thank you for coming in my garage and let me show you all my treasures I have. Thank you.
I'm Oona O'Connell, and that's our show. For the latest episodes and behind-the-scenes footage, check out www.rockinmotors.tv. If you're located in South Florida and you have a hot ride or a cool club that you'd like me to review, just email me at oona@rockinmotors.com. For sponsorship information, email sponsors@rockinmotors.com.
This flat tire needs a man, but when there's no man around, when there's no man around, Goodyear should be. Why? Watch this. New Goodyear Double Eagle. carries its own spare inside. Lifeguard Safety Spare. A tire in a tire. Keeps on going. Next time, give her a second chance.